Okay, so I'm going to make a video telling you and telling Square Enix how to make a great Final Fantasy X Part 3 based on many ideas that I got for that. After I watched a video, I saw a video here about a guy talking about how, if they make X-3, it's going to be really bad. It's going to suck basically, because it's going to be more than likely, especially story-wise, even worse than X2. And X2, I don't want to trash X2. I enjoyed X2 very much, especially the gameplay. I think the battle system in X2 was fantastic. If they had that same battle system in Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy X, it would have been even better than what it was and what it is. But yeah, basically the third part, which is not announced or anything, is something that many people think that if they do it, it's going to be terrible, it's going to be bad, or it's going to be a money grab. Just to sell copies, because way too many fans are going to buy anyways, just to see what they do for part 3. So when I watched this video from this guy, basically not recommending the third part, especially if they're gonna do it the way you think they will do it. By the way, this is going to be spoilers galore. It's going to be, I'm supposing that the people watching this are not going to have any problem at all with spoilers for Final Fantasy X and for X-2, which I like to call them X and X2. So yeah, I'm not going to warn about spoilers after this. I'm just going to throw them out there. Even final boss battle spoilers for both games. So I'm supposing that you know this, because I am going to tell you how to make, not just how to make the game, to make it great for X3, but I'm going to tell you part of the story that I came up with to be able to make that game. So before I begin with that, which is pretty good, which is something that, if someone at Square Enix listens to this and they do it, it will be epic. But I'm supposing that it probably won't happen, but I'm just gonna tell you here anyways, because I think it is pretty good what I came up with. Especially for true fans, you're gonna love this. Even if they are just ideas that I came up with when I watched that video of the other guy recommending not doing X3. And I understand him. Okay, so basically, first I'm gonna give you a background so that you understand why I came up with this. I'm not some random guy that came up with this just out of nowhere. I have sort of like a background that helps me to come up with new stories and that kind of thing. The imagination that I have is not something that I came up with for this video. It's not anything new. It's something from years ago already. So, okay, first of all, my background with X and X2. I got X very close to its release date because it was my birthday, and I got it as a birthday present with the PS2. And back then, I had not really played that many good games back then. So when I got the PS2 and Final Fantasy X, almost like 2 or 3 months after release, I think I was 12. Yeah, I was 12. So it was fantastic. It was an amazing experience for me. I already enjoyed RPGs, but I had never seen an RPG that was that good. So I ended up, to make the story short, I ended up playing the game and doing all the side quests in the game and doing everything in the game, and I ended up with a file that was like 200 hours long playing the game. So I guess I spent like a whole summer playing the game, something like that, and I did everything. I love the game. I really enjoyed it. I think the game even helped me to learn English better, because back then I was still learning it. Right now I already know it, obviously. But back then I didn't know it perfectly, so I even played it with a dictionary. So the game helped me a lot, not just in entertainment, but it helped me to learn things and everything. because I was very young too. I was 12, so I still had a lot to learn, and the game helped me to learn. So I loved it. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, I got X2 at release date because I was expecting another fantastic experience. I was disappointed with X2. I didn't like the story as much as the first game or the characters, but I was still pretty happy because the battle system was very, very good and it was very entertaining, even if I didn't love the story. And I still, spent like 100 hours playing X2. I did everything in X2, or maybe not everything, but I did enough to get 100%. So I'm guessing that I did almost everything. So I got 100%, I got the perfect ending, and so you can say that I know a lot about the two games, and I experienced everything that they have to offer. I also did, that was years later, I stopped playing them, and years later I did a No Sphere Grid challenge for the first one. I got up to the final boss and I couldn't beat that. That was too difficult. But it was, with no crazy restrictions. It was just No Sphere Grid, but you could use summons and everything else. I didn't go crazy with that. So I know a lot of the games. I have done almost everything they have to offer. So I know their story like the palm of my hand. So that's my background with X1 and X2. Now I want to give you my background with storytelling, with writing great stories, with coming up with great new original characters, great new plots, which is what really helps me to come up with this way to make a Final Fantasy X-3, which is great. So right now, it's all a hobby, but it is very good. And if you stop by and read it, you're gonna see that it really is very good. In my blog, which is also my website, which is author.pedrocristobal.wordpress.com. So it's author, PEDROCRISTOBAL, Pedro Cristobal, my name, .wordpress.com. If you go to that website and you go to original stories, you're gonna see a science fiction thriller that I am, which is a long series. It's a great series that I'm writing right now, which is original, which is very good. If you enjoy what I'm gonna tell you in this video for X3, even one bit, make sure you don't miss reading that, because that is actually better. And it is one of my many original stories. So right now I'm doing that, but I've had that as a hobby for a very long time. When I was, working on other things and doing other things, I still had it like hobby in the back burner, but it was a back burner that I took really seriously. So it was a hobby that I was and continue to be very serious about. So if you go to that website of mine, the blog, authorpedrocristobal.wordpress.com, I'm gonna put the link here in the description, so you can just click there and make it easy for you. And if you not just go to the original story section, but you go to the fanfiction series section, you're gonna see a great sequel for The Matrix Revolutions, which I called The Matrix Revelations, like a part 4 for the Matrix series I came up with. Really, really good science fiction, really good. I was very proud when I finished doing that. It's too bad it is not my original series. Project H, the other one I'm doing in original stories, is my original series, and I can do other original series too. But I still love the Matrix saga, so I did a part 4 for it. If you look in the fanfiction series, I also did a new story with an original character for the Naruto Shippuden series. So I did a story for the grandfather of Naruto, who is the father of Minato Namikaze, my favorite character in that story by far, Minato. So I came up with a story for Minato's father, which tells you how Minato was born and who was the mother, and It even has time travel and everything, and this is just fantastic. For anyone that enjoyed watching the Naruto series, Naruto Shippuden, you're gonna enjoy that. I did more than that. I did other stories, so you go to the fanfiction series there, and you're gonna see. So if you go in there and you see all that, you're gonna see that I'm not new to coming up with great stories. It's a hobby that I've had for a long time. I enjoy it. I take it very seriously. It is difficult, but I already have a lot of training in it, so I've gotten pretty good. It's the truth. I've gotten pretty good at it. So when the other day I saw this guy's video, and I'm going to give him credit for that video, because if it wasn't for that video, I probably wouldn't have come up with this. So I think I'm gonna, like put a link of this there and thank him for making that video, saying that X-3 is gonna be not so great, especially if they do what they're thinking. So I watched that video, and in like 10 minutes, I came up with how to make a great story for X-3. And based on my recent experiences with gaming that include PSVR, something new that I had not tried, which is really good. Which is, I'm sitting right there, close to the gaming stuff. So this is gonna play a role in the X-3 that I'm thinking about, the PSVR headset. Because the X-3 that I'm thinking about, to make it great, and I'm thinking about something, I always think that way. If I'm gonna do, if it's one of my stories, I just keep going with that. But if it is a sequel for something that already exists, like X and X2, Final Fantasy X and X-2, my goal when I come up with something for those that already exist from other authors, from other writers, other creators, is making a sequel that is even better than the original ones. So this is not hard for X2. For Final Fantasy X, it is a real challenge. But there's no challenge that cannot be met if you're good at this storytelling business and stuff. So I began thinking about it, and like 10 minutes only, I came up after listening to this video, telling us that X3 probably won't be good. So it's maybe better if they don't do it. Obviously, it's better if they don't do it if they're going to do something that is crappy, or that is a money grab, that is not a great experience or a great game. I agree with that. But what made me think was, I do agree with doing it if they do something that is great, but how can they do something? How can Square Enix do a Final Fantasy X3 that is a great experience and that hopefully can be the first game, which is one of my top 5 games of all time, by the way. So don't be surprised with me being passionate about talking about this third sequel of an old game in a video. It is one of my favorite games, so it is a big deal for me if something like this could happen. So I thought, how can they do that? And I came up with a way to do it. So without further ado, I'm gonna tell you what I came up with. So I began thinking about it, and the first thing that came to mind is, most people think that X3 will be Aaron's story, like young Aaron, Yet, Nebraska. Get ready for spoilers, because now I'm going to begin spoiling everything in order to tell you what I'm thinking for X3. I think that will not be a good X3. That could be an expansion pack, something like that. It will work. But I don't think that doing that story will work for X3, because people already know it. People already know how it ends and what happens after, and they already know what to expect. And even if they manage to do something really epic, it still doesn't have big surprises and big plot twists that people don't expect and that fit well and that are great. So you want to do something new. If you want an X3 that is going to be better than the first game, it cannot be something that is like a little side story that is, like adding more to a side story of the first game. It's not going to work. You have to come up with something new, something better. So what do I think? It should be in the same world as X and X2. I don't think that's negotiable. It has to be in the same world. There have to be familiar faces from the first 2 games there. So, since it is the same world, You have the same characters there and the same people. You obviously have new people. You can have new locations, like they did in X2 that they added new locations. You should do that for sure. So you should make the world richer with new locations, maybe even new stuff for the old locations if they were renovated. Some new people, but also some of the old ones, so that people can, the fans can remember those and see more, including the big characters, the main characters, the important secondary characters from the first two games. I do recommend putting those in there. But you need a whole new Final Fantasy. You need a whole new story, a whole new problem, a new villain that feels like a bigger villain than what you saw so far in the first two games, and new things that really make you feel like their world is really in danger again, but they won't be able to save it. There has to be someone else, new characters, new events, new things. So it's basically like making a new Final Fantasy game using the same world. Same world. And obviously, you will definitely have a moment where you're gonna meet some of the protagonists, at least one or two, at least Tidus and Yuna from the first two games. They're not gonna be protagonists in this X-3 game, but they should definitely be there. They should do it like something like they did in the third Golden Sun game. Like the protagonist from the first game, who is an important character in the second game, appears in the third one as an adult, and the kids that you are controlling that are the new protagonists, he joins their party for a while only. So it is that kind of thing. Either Tidus, most likely Tidus, I would recommend for that. Yuna perhaps, but less time. And here's the big deal. Okay, before I begin telling you the story that I have in mind for the X3 game, it should be a PSVR game. If you want to sell like crazy, not just a new game, but also the PSVR headsets and the assets, new Sony assets, PSVR headsets, more of the two Move controllers, a bundle, make it a bundle, a PSVR bundle with the two Move controllers and Final Fantasy X-3, it will sell like crazy. And here's the thing, I began thinking about this a lot, so I came up with a story, but I thought, you know what, coming up with a new main character that is so interesting and so likable that people are going to forget about the first game and they're going to say right away, oh no, the third game is the best. That's not going to happen. The big fans will continue thinking that the first game is the best one in the series, even if you come up with a new protagonist that is great, unless that new protagonist is you. The person playing will be the new protagonist, and to do that you need PSVR, virtual reality. So you will create a new character, not like in Skyrim, right? Yeah, Skyrim. Not like playing Skyrim, but you will do a new character for the Final Fantasy X and X-2 world. So you will be able to pick, do you want to be male or female? They need to have that. They need to have that because in the second game, all the protagonists were female. So I'm sure that a lot of girls, maybe even women, played the second game and enjoyed it a lot. It was one of the few really good RPG games with an all-female protagonist cast and playable characters in the party. So you need that, male or female. From where are you from? You will be able to pick if you want to be from B8, Iceland, from Luca, Blissful Paradise, Blissful City. So the clothes should be related to that. Oh, by the way, this T-shirt, I bought this, like more than a year ago when I went to the Final Fantasy Distant Wars concert in Florida, which is where I live. I live in Florida. I'm filming this in Florida right now. And I bought it just for that, and I only used it once. As you can see, I'm obviously a fan of the game. This is the symbol from Final Fantasy X. I forgot to say that at the beginning. There's so many ideas and so many things. So basically, you are going to be the main character in the story for Final Fantasy X-3. First, you design your character, male or female. You can put the facial features and everything to make it look like you. You can choose from where you're from. You can even choose to be a Ronso if that's what you like, being a Ronso. Basic Ronso. I remember the names of the Blissful players, of the Ronso team of Blissful players. I played that a lot. Ilga Ronso, I think that was another name. And I haven't played that in years, long time ago. So, basically you can pick any race, or not race, but location. And you can also pick two sort of like jobs, like they did in X2. So you can have like a primary job to be to have the kind of skills that Tidus had in the first game, and you can take a secondary one to be a black mage, or you can take a primary one to be a white mage, and a secondary one to be how do they call it? Samurai guy, I think. That's the dress sphere for the Auron techniques in X2, I think, right? So you will be able to pick all that. In the battle system, it wouldn't be just you, but you're gonna see everything from your perspective with the VR headset, right? You will be able to recruit members for your team, kind of like what they did in Chrono Cross, and I think the Suikoden games also did that. You are going to have like 100 characters available that you can choose to pick to join your team at specific times or permanently, and it will be up to you if you accept them or not in your group. So it's going to be, replayability is going to be through the roof, because you can only pick two styles. So you can be a black mage and white mage in one playthrough. In the other playthrough, you can be something else. You can recruit different people. You will also have the very first RPG game. If they make it like the battle system in X2, ATB, that's what I would recommend. But if they make it turn-based like the first game, it's gonna sell like crazy anyways. It's a very popular game. It's a great game actually. So if they manage to do like a third part very well done in PSVR, and you are the protagonist of the third part with a great story behind all of it, it will be a bestseller. It will be a system seller, and if it is a Sony exclusive, it will wreck the competition, and it will be great. You know what? It will be great for Sony because the competition already has that game, or those games, X and X2, in their consoles, and it is selling like crazy. So you're gonna get, for the business people that want to make money, you're gonna get all the people from the Switch, from the Xbox One, from PC, because they already have a PC port, and I don't know if they have something else, another port in any other system. They have one for beta, for PS Vita. You're gonna get all those people back to you if you come up with something like this. So let's not push it back anymore. I want to make this less than half an hour. So instead of sitting another half an hour here telling the whole story, I'm trying to go quick so that you can get the idea of how this can be done. So obviously the world is going to be the same world as X and X2, with added locations, maybe some changes in those locations. There have to be familiar faces. Like in the Lucas Stadium, I would expect to see in the Lucas Stadium the first, the same two guys, the doorkeepers from the first game. I think they were Biggs and Wedge. that kind of thing. But I also want the kind of game that new players that have never played the first two games can come here and they can enjoy it and they can understand it and they can play it. Because it is a new Final Fantasy, it is a new game, it is a new story, but it takes place in the same world from the previous games. So the fans are going to see familiar faces, and the people that don't know those faces from before, they're going to want to buy and play those games. But they will finish this one first. So how is it going to work? Number one, no Seymour as villain. If Seymour is going to be in this game, please make it like an optional boss, like Sephiroth in Kingdom Hearts. Seymour looks a lot like Sephiroth in my opinion. I think may have been like half inspired by Sephiroth. So make it like a super hard monster arena, side quest kind of boss, like Seymour's boss, that kind of thing. But doesn't appear in the main game or in the main story, and definitely, doesn't do anything there. The stuff from X2, leave it as it is. Don't try to dig anymore in that story. But there's one thing that really helps to make X3 very linkable, and that will be to somehow bring Jevon, the real final boss from the first game, bring Jevon back. So if you remember correctly, big spoilers, everyone sees Braska's final summon as the real final boss, but that wasn't the real final boss. The real one was Jevon, the little bug thingy that was really easy to kill. So no one really cared about the real final boss in Final Fantasy X because it was easy. So the one that came before that is the one that everyone considers the real final boss. So the final boss battle in the first game, it took place on a huge sword. So in the beginning of X3, it can begin with an excavation of that huge sword, either in the Sanacor area, some new area there in Sanacor, or even in the desert. Even in the desert, you can invent whatever. You can put that basically it, teleport it there, change the locations, Jevon change locations, whatever. So then their goal, it is a big event where they're uncovering things and the world is changing because many years went by. We can put maybe 15 years went by or something like that, so all the characters from before are going to be older. They will probably have kids, so expect... Oh, by the way, I would recommend not using the... in the remaster, they have like a little video of some unknown characters they're talking. If they're gonna use some of that, limit it to the minimum. So you can have that Tidus and Yuna had, a girl or a boy, kid. You can have, for whatever reason, have them separated, and then obviously the main character, you, the player, is going to do something in X3 that is going to help to reunite them. You can have those things, but please don't have anything else from that little video, little after the calm video with Auron's daughter and all that. Please don't have anything else from that. That was a bunch of crap, story-wise and character-wise. So, okay, begins. So they are, the new people in the new government for different places of Spira, and the new emerging leaders who are not the protagonists from the previous games. They are other people, new characters, are reuniting at this site because they think that they uncover something great and everything's going wonderful and everything's happy and everything's perfect. But it turns out that when they dig out and uncover this humongous sword, they free like spirit there, and the spirit is going to be, guess who? Jevon. So Jevon is going to come back, but it's going to come back by basically taking going into one thing. So one of the new good governors because all of these people are good people, but they're gonna get screwed after they take out the sword from X1. So all of them are affected, and these people are the ones that are running the new world. These are the ones that are leading the new spirit, the new leaders and governors, and all of them were there. And all of them are affected by this. One of them, by the way, these people are not going to be old people. These people are going to be like people that like 40 years old, something like that. So it is a new leadership for a spirit that is pretty young. That is actually the same age as the protagonist from before in this 15 years later story. So they are pretty young people. So all of them are affected by that. One of them, who is very affected, is going to become the new villain in X-3 in the whole game. All the others are going to be, bosses or people that you're going to have to defeat. And you, the new protagonist, in PSVR. All this is with the, with the headset on. So imagine something there for the sword, and when that happens, like what they showed in the trailer for Iron Man VR. So imagine something epic, right? So the protagonist, which is you, is going to be some, random guy or random girl there in the dig-up site, just a random worker there, from any place. It can be someone that was original from Visay, that was from Luca, that was from even Alonso, doesn't matter. So this protagonist is going to see what happens. So it's going to be one of the very few people that knows what really happened there. But then all this event is kept hidden, kept secret, and these leaders who are really, not possessed, but they are kind of like controlled by Jevon, who is one of them. One of them becomes a new Jevon, basically. They begin telling different news to the people in all Spira. And you who are the protagonist, you who were one of the very few who was also there but who didn't get affected, you are also one of the new and few one of the few in this new world that knows that something big and new and bad is happening. So you know that all these leaders are not themselves anymore, and they are the ones in charge of all the governments, and they obviously begin doing things that are not good for the people, but the people are oblivious. The people in the spirit are oblivious because these leaders had already proven themselves as good. So no one will expect this change because of the Jevon incident. And to begin with, no one knows about the Jevon incident except you, the PSVR player who's playing X-3. So this new hero, which is going to be you, guy or girl, the gender doesn't matter, is, by the way, English is my second language. So if I stutter with anything, it's not because I'm not good at giving speeches, it's because English is my second language. So, basically, you are going to have to figure out how to say spirit after that incident and after you begin seeing the things that are happening. And obviously these faction leaders and these leaders from the different places in the spirit are going to begin mobilizing their resources, like their technology, if we're talking about the Albeth, their religious influences, if we're talking about the people from New Jevon, and but they're going to begin doing it for a bad purpose, and all of them are working together as New Jevon. So obviously what the New Jevon wants to do is take over Spira again, but he's not going to do it with sin, because he already knows that sin didn't work. So he's going to do it through a new way, without sin and with this group of people that he got. Now, he got very lucky because they are the presidents, if you want to call it like that, the governors, the leaders of the new world. So you are gonna have to meet new people in Spira who are also suspecting that something is wrong with the new leaders and the new Spira, and they are going, well, if you choose it, they're going to join you, and some of those are going to be your new party members. But you, obviously, like everybody else in Spira, know the story of the legendary Guardians and the legendary Lady Yuna, but you don't know where they are. So you're gonna have to kind of like try to reach out to the old heroes so that they can help you, and you're gonna find out that either they cannot help you, they are not available, you cannot find them, there's a problem. You're gonna find out that the old heroes, even though you're happy of seeing them, cannot save the day anymore. So guess who has to save the day and defeat the bosses and figure out how to beat the new Jevon? You, my dear, because you're gonna be the protagonist of X-3, because I'm supposing that this is a PSVR RPG. Well done. So, I already went over half an hour. I talk too much. So, I have more ideas for the story. But I'll probably do it like in a second video. So if this video looks like a good idea, if many people are liking it, if you want to know what I will continue doing for that story, I already told you a lot. I already told you that. But let me tell you a few of the other ideas. Doesn't matter if I go too long. I mean, the X and X2 fans are gonna love this anyways. So I expect that from the old characters, the old heroes, the one that you're gonna interact with the most, and the one that is going to most likely join your party at some point, is going to be Tidus. But he's going to look a little bit more like Jet, because a lot has changed, and he has also changed. And basically, these new leaders, who in reality are the bad guys, basically, and one of them is in reality Jevon. You know, supposedly the bad guy from the very beginning of all this Final Fantasy X saga. So they're gonna make like a big blissful game, and they're gonna do something that you know, they're gonna use it like in the Lucas Stadium, like they're gonna launch a new weapon that will be used to take over Spira, and then they won't have to act anymore, and they can just become the dictators of Spira, something like that. But you want to stop that, and you know, you find that from the old heroes, the only one that actually does believe you is Tidus, and Yuna kind of believes you, but not completely. She has other. So I'm guessing that, because I don't want to make them big characters anymore, the daughter or son of Yuna and Tidus is going to be one of your big party members, who does want to believe you about what is happening in Spira, even though most people are blind and they don't see it. So basically, you're gonna have like a big blissful game there, and Tidus is going to finally agree to helping you. So he's going to participate in the game, kind of like what happened in the beginning of Final Fantasy X, but he's now older and looks a lot like Jet. And he's gonna actually play in the game to keep the bad guys and the people and many other things busy, while you go behind the scenes and infiltrate the, how can we call it, the bad guys' headquarters. So obviously there's gonna be a big boss battle there. The weapon's gonna go off, but they won't be able to use it to capture all Spira. And that's like a big plot twist. When the people in the whole world realize what is really going on, but when they realize it, it's kind of a little bit late. And this Jevon guy unleashes like a wave of monsters everywhere, crazy. It goes bad crazy. And obviously things changed a lot, so now the other heroes that didn't believe in you, they believe in you, but it's kind of, kind of late. It's too late. So some of them are caught and put in prison because this Jevon guy knows who defeated him. Obviously, he remembers, and he knows, since he's controlling all the people that are the new leaders, he knows who are the people that will have a chance of becoming a big problem, like a new hero. But you, the protagonist, were not one of them because you were a simple worker from that side when that happened. So obviously at some point they figure out that you are the one behind it all because they realize, the Jevon guy realizes that there were other people in the site, that the ones affected were not only the majors and the leaders and the new governors. So they begin, looking for the others that were present at the site that day. You are one of those. Things are gonna get complicated for you. Things are gonna get complicated, but they're gonna get, more action-packed. It's a game. It's gonna get action-packed and epic. It's X-3. What do you expect? It is a great X-3 if it is done. Except this right now is just me giving ideas. But I am 100% sure that I can. I already have basically the skeleton of the story. So it's just filling in the blanks. So if you like this video a lot, if many people like this video a lot, I will consider filling in the blanks, and I will also consider I don't know, maybe sending a message to someone from Square Enix that can present this idea. Because if I was, which I'm not, and I'm not gonna be, and I don't want to be either, I would rather be, the storyteller or the things than be the president or vice president of Square Enix. But if I was, I will take this project right now, and I will even cancel a few other projects that are not gonna give me even 10% as much, catch and new gamers, my site for Sony, than this project. I will get this project done because this project will be a bomb, a good bomb. We're talking about a good bomb here, and it will be, if it is done right, I'm sure that it can be just as good as the first game, but better because it is VR. So you are there, and the protagonist is basically you. I think it will be amazing, and it should be, if it was done, something that people that played the first RPGs, the first role-playing games at the beginning of the 90s, probably even dreamed of. It should be the first one where, even if it is turn-based, you're not guiding the party members to do it for you. You're one of the party members and you're doing it for yourself. Let's say that you have like 2 swords. You're a character that has a skill with 2 swords, something like that. So you use the 2 motion controllers with the PSVR headset. And you will actually have to swing to make the hits. Like imagine a Tidus Blitz Ace done by you swinging. Or Auron's overdrives. The player, depending on what class and job or style you pick, you will have those same abilities available, and the one who's going to be doing them is going to be you. And obviously, since you are one of the people affected from this digging up of the sword and Jevon and this incident where the others got possessed and bad and all that, and Jevon took over then, but you were not taken by Jevon. Since you were in that incident, you're gonna have some, just to make the protagonist more interesting, right? Some new skills, some special skills. Maybe you can, maybe you have like one transformation, good transformation, obviously, not something bad. Or maybe you have some spatial overdrive which uses that power that you gain. Like in Skyrim VR, you got all kinds of magic that you can use with your hands, that kind of thing. They can do something like that. And yeah, this already gives you a pretty good idea of what I have in mind for X3. What will be a great way to do it? Will it be hard to do? Of course it will be hard to do. But I would recommend recycling most of the world from X2 and adding new locations, but not too many. You can have like 80% X and X2 and maybe the other 20% or even just 15% new locations and new stuff. If they manage to do Blitzball in VR, that would be amazing. Blitzball is a great minigame. So what else? Yeah, and I think if the story is done right, based on part that I revealed, which is not even the whole skeleton, it's just part of it. It can even be a great story because you are the hero. It's you. You are the protagonist. You're gonna help the old heroes from X and X2, but some of them are gonna help you too. Obviously, it's gonna be Juna and Tidus, obviously, because they were the main one back then. So you're gonna be helped. The new main one is going to get help from the old main ones. I do think that they should have some new character that's going to be one of your big party members, and that new character should be the daughter or the son of someone from before, either from Yuna and Tidus or from Lulu and Waka, something like that. Definitely, you should definitely have some new characters that are, maybe you can have like 5 or 6 party members that will join you no matter what. And 2 of them can be some of those people. But the others should be like optional. And it should be optional so that if, there will always be crazy people that want to do a challenge because it is a Final Fantasy X game. And there are too many challenges with these games. No Sphere Grid, no summons, no this, no that. Tidus only, Yuna only, this only, not that. Nothing. So somehow you're gonna survive, I don't know how. So if there's a player that wants to make things more difficult, they should not recruit any of the optional party members, and maybe they should make it optional. They should make it possible. They should make it optional to even recruit the important party members, and they should make it possible for the people that want a real challenge to beat all the bad guys and the whole game, and to say Spira by yourself, and you can make that one of the endings. And then you should have other endings where the other party members did participate, or do participate, or participated. So those are just some ideas. If I kept thinking about it, I'm pretty sure that I would come up with the whole game. I'm pretty sure that I wouldn't be able to come up with all the dialogues for all the NPCs in all the locations and everything, and make those dialogues as realistic as possible, which is going to make the NPCs as realistic as possible, because good dialogues that fit is what makes a fictional character, especially in a book, more realistic. Not dumb plot twist, not something like a bad guy becoming good guy all of a sudden, or good guy becoming bad guy and it didn't make sense. Nothing like that. I hate those plot twists because they don't make sense. And they are so common, even in good stories, they're common. They do it a lot. They do it a lot. Like when they don't know what to do, they put a plot twist there that you didn't expect and it doesn't even make sense. I mean, don't get me started with bad sequels, because I can do several videos, a whole series of videos trashing bad sequels. Star Wars 8, The Last Jedi, the last crap. They ruined Luke Skywalker. Terrible sequel. I haven't watched season 8 of Game of Thrones, and I think I'm not gonna watch it because I already got it spoiled, basically. With too many videos and too many people talking. and I didn't like the way they ended it. But since I hate that, my stories I don't come up with any of that stuff. So for me, guaranteed that the end is going to be great. You're gonna be satisfied with the X-3 ending if I do it. You're gonna be satisfied with the X-3 story and with the dialogues from everyone if I do it. I'm not the only one that can do it, obviously. Many people can do it, but I know that I just don't like stories that don't have satisfying endings. So there's no way that I will give it an ending that is not satisfying. I will change it if I don't find it satisfying enough. Same thing for everything else, for the boss battles and the twists and all those things. I like things that make sense, that fit, but at the same time that surprise you and that feel epic. So yeah, there you have it. So you can, I think that with all these ideas that I gave, 50-minute video, incredible, I talk too much. You can already imagine what a great Final Fantasy X, I like to call it X, but it's 10, X3 will be like if it was in PSVR, if the protagonist was the player, you. And if they incorporate these ideas that I have, they could even have a lot of continuity with the story from previous games, even though it is a whole new thing that should be standalone. It should be something that someone that didn't play X1 and X2 can come here and play X3 and understand everything. They will still get curious because they are going to meet the older characters, so they will get curious about knowing what happened in the first two games. But it's not going to be a must know. It is a given that this protagonist, even though it is you, knows what happened in those first two, because this person lives in Spira, lives in that world, so this person knows about the heroes that threatened them from before. And yeah, that's it. I think the video is too long, so I'm gonna leave it here. So that's the beginning of my ideas to make a great part 3 for Final Fantasy X that could actually rival, and maybe, who knows, maybe even beat the first game. That would be amazing, that would be awesome. And I know that it can be done. I think, fans are gonna like this. I would think about maybe sending this video, this idea to someone from Square Enix. If they want to do it, great. I mean, they don't have to pay me for it. It's already a video here. So they can just grab the idea and do it. If they don't, it doesn't matter. You can watch this video and already get an idea and imagine what this could be like I did. And I got this just from thinking about it for 15 minutes. So I have to thank that guy who made that video, talking about why X3 would not be great. It would not be great if they do it about Auron, because people already know what's going to happen there. Even if they do something spectacular, you know what's going to happen there. It would not be great if they do it again about Zen or about Simmer. Oh no, that would be a bad idea. It's not that they cannot do something great, they can, but it is not going to be better than the first game. If you want a part 3 that is freaking amazing, you have to be thinking about doing something that beats the first game. And that is the mindset that I have. That is how I began thinking about this. Okay, you want to beat the first game? Make it PSVR. Make the new player, who can be an old fan, the protagonist of the third part. Make them the protagonist. Give them the freedom. Give them the choice. Give them a lot of choice. Make this super replayable. Give it more than one ending. Let them meet the old characters from before and see them face to face, because this is PSVR. I think it will be, if it was done, I am certain that it will be freaking amazing, and I am 100% certain that it will help Sony, PlayStation, and Square Enix to wreck the competition. Almost for sure. I mean, these games are too popular. So all the fans, which are many, all around the world, not just here in the United States, also in Japan and everywhere, they will buy it. The new generation of gamers will also buy it because it's one of the first great PSVR RPGs. Of course, you're gonna buy it if you like RPGs. I mean, I see it as the end game sales event. You know, I'm talking about the movie Avengers Endgame, but for gaming, but for PlayStation 5. Let's say they do it for PlayStation 5, but for PSVR, it will be that. It will be a big deal, honestly, if it was done. And if you don't know how to figure out a story that is better than the first game, call me. Call me. If you don't have faith in me, if you don't have faith in me, go to my website, which I'm gonna put there in the description. Click on it and read my original story, read my fanfiction series, and you're gonna realize that I can deliver. I can deliver, and I can definitely deliver for one of my favorite games of all time. Rest assured of that, and I will be glad to. I will be glad to deliver because I enjoy those experiences. I really enjoy it. So, you know, making the story, the dialogues, coming up with the characters. I cannot draw, so I'm gonna have, you know, I will need people to draw it for me. But I can give them the ideas of how, you know, the colors and you know what they can use, all that. Like put this clothes on this guy. This guy should wear this. That guy should wear that. When the protagonist, who is the person playing the game PSVR, talks with this guy's gonna say this. This is the way, you know. Yeah, I could help a lot with all that, for sure. And if not, at least I'm giving the ideas, which I think is a way to begin. A way to begin to ensure that you make a fantastic X-3 game is making sure that it is a fantastic experience because of the story. Not disappointing, not like Game of Thrones, not like something disappointing. This robot anime. There are so many good anime which are good but have disappointing endings. So many. Don't do that with X3. You need an ending, which is going to be hard, by the way, but it is doable, that people are going to love more than the perfect ending in X2. It can be done. You just have to, you know, work on the story and make sure that you lead the story, you know, in the correct way, with the correct skeleton, even before you begin, to make sure that all the parts, not just the beginning and the end, but all the parts end up being pretty epic. Since the very beginning, you know that this thing is going to be great, and it keeps going, you know, being great the whole way. And when you get to the end, better than the first game. That's the goal of all this. That's the goal of all this. The goal of storytelling, which is one of my greatest hobbies, is creating a great experience. And I believe that Final Fantasy X Part 3 can be a great experience if it is done right. I know I can help with the story department, with the ideas department, with the dialogues and all that. I can help with that. Not for free, obviously, but I will gladly help. And you know, even what I gave in this video, if it is given to the right people, they can already create a project and make it possible and do something great. Even if they don't call me for anything else, I don't really care about it. You know, it's, if I manage to help to do a great Part 3 for Final Fantasy X with just this video, I'll be pretty happy with that. I'll be glad. And yeah, there are other stories that I talked about. I did a Nier Automata video where I said what I would have done differently in the Neo Automata story to make it better. So this is not anything new, guys and girls. I have been into epic storytelling and figuring out how not to disappoint with your story and with your characters and with what happens there. I've been into that as a hobby for a long time. So I hope you liked my ideas. And if this video is liked a lot, I will think about, giving you more ideas to make the Final Fantasy X-3 story where the player is the protagonist. But for now, this is going to be it. 1 hour long video. Unbelievable. But I told you everything that I wanted for the first video about this. So I'm gonna leave it here. I was filming this with 2 cameras, by the way, with the iPhone and with the other camera over there. So if you see me, changing too much, it was because of that. I wanted 2 different views. And then I'm gonna see which is the best one to publish in YouTube.